London, 1888. The center of the civilized world. Queen Victoria sits on the throne, and the British Empire covers the globe. But just a few miles east of Buckingham Palace, there is a different world entirely. Whitechapel, a square mile of squalor where 50,000 people are crammed into rat-infested lodging houses. It's a place where life is cheap and the fog is so thick you can taste the coal smoke. In the autumn of that year, something walked out of that fog, something that changed the way the world thought about fear. It wasn't just a murderer, it was a phantom that paralyzed the greatest city on earth and gave birth to the modern concept of the serial killer. This is the story of the Autumn of Terror. This is the story of Jack the Ripper. To understand the panic, you have to understand the place. In 1888, Whitechapel is a maze of dark alleys and desperate souls. Policing here isn't about solving crimes, it's about containing chaos. And in late August, the chaos turned deadly. August 31st, 3:40 a.m. Two laborers walking to work on Bucks Row notice a bundle lying against a stable gate. It's Mary Ann Nichols. She is 43, destitute, and the first of the canonical 5 victims. When the police arrive, they find her throat has been cut. But it's what happened after death that shocks the hardened constables. The brutality to her body suggests a rage they haven't seen before. A week later, it happens again. Annie Chapman is found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. The violence has escalated. This time, the killer didn't just take a life, he took a trophy. A part of her body was surgically removed and taken away. The police realized 2 terrifying things simultaneously. First, they were dealing with a single offender, and second, he had some knowledge of anatomy. The rumor mill exploded. Was it a doctor, a butcher, a madman? The name hadn't been invented yet, but the shadow was growing taller. This is the moment where the case goes from a police investigation to a worldwide phenomenon. The newly literate public is hungry for sensation, and the newspapers are happy to feed them. Terror becomes a commodity, and then the killer, or someone pretending to be him, decides to speak. On September 27th, a letter arrives at the Central News Agency. Written in blood-red ink, it mocks the police. "Dear boss, I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I am down on whores, and I shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled." It was chilling, but the real stroke of dark genius was the signature at the bottom: Jack the Ripper. Suddenly, the shadow had a name. Historians today believe a journalist likely wrote this letter to sell papers. If so, it was the most successful marketing campaign in criminal history. The city was now looking for a supervillain. The panic reaches its absolute peak on the night of September 30th, the double event. At 1 a.m., Elizabeth Stride is found dead in Dutfield's yard. Her throat is cut, but the rest of the Ripper's usual brutality is missing. The police believe the killer was interrupted, spooked by a cart pulling into the yard. He fled into the night. He still had the urge to kill, and he wasn't finished. While the police are converging on the first body, the Ripper walks just 15 minutes away, across the city boundary line, into Mitre Square. There, he finds Catherine Eddowes. In the 45 minutes between the 2 murders, he unleashes horrific violence on Catherine, and again, he takes trophies. A kidney is missing. The police are humiliated. 2 women dead in an hour under their noses. The city is on lockdown. Vigilante mobs roam the streets. Whitechapel is a powder keg. If the public was scared before, what happened next traumatized them. Mid-October, George Lusk, the head of the local neighborhood watch, receives a small package. Inside is a cardboard box, and inside the box is half a human kidney preserved in wine. The letter that came with it wasn't signed Jack, it was just headed with 2 words that summed up the entire autumn: from hell. The writer claimed he fried and ate the other half. Most experts believe this letter was the real deal, the true voice of the killer.
By November, the fog is colder, the streets are emptier. On November 9th, the Ripper breaks his own pattern. He doesn't strike on the street, he goes indoors. Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest victim, at roughly 25 years old, is found in her tiny room at 13 Miller's Court. Because he was inside, hidden from the street, he had time. Hours. The scene police discovered inside that room was so horrific, so absolute in its destruction, that the hardened police photos were kept classified for decades. It was the crescendo of his rage. And then, silence. After Mary Jane Kelly, the killing stopped. Did Jack die? Was he thrown into an asylum for another crime? Did he flee to America? Scotland Yard interviewed thousands. They suspected butchers, doctors, Polish immigrants, even a barrister who drowned himself in the Thames shortly after the last murder. Over the last 130 years, we have accused everyone from painters to princes. But Victorian forensics were non-existent. There were no fingerprints. DNA was a century away. The fog that shielded him in 1888 protects him still. We will likely never know for sure who Jack the Ripper was. He escaped justice. But why are we still obsessed? Perhaps because he was the first monster of the modern media age. He showed us that a single person, armed with nothing but a knife and the shadows, could bring the greatest empire on earth to its knees. The gaslights of Whitechapel have long since been replaced by electricity, but when the fog rolls in off the Thames, you can still feel the fear.